everybody. Welcome back to The Dorks Next Door. I am your man, Andy York, joined by a very special guest, probably one of the most frequent guests on our channel, Nico from the New World Nerds, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. The most frequent, most distinguished, whatever title you want to give me.
There you go. Yeah.
I very much appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Well, we are going
It's
to
good to
be diving into all the fun of WandaVision. Get this off the bat. If you have not watched any of WandaVision, why are you here? Go away. Go away. Go watch it. Stay off Twitter. Go watch it.
Go back to your rock.
Yeah. Get a life and then come talk to us about it after you watch it, because it has very quickly become one of my favorite MCU properties so far.
It has been. It's been very good. I'm enjoying it. It started off pretty slow, which I think was the general perception.
Yeah.
I think this one might have benefited from just being a big old dump of episodes. But that's just me, because I don't need sleep. I need answers.
Yes.
So that's the only reason that I'm. Trust me, I'd rather have. I feel like I have it for much longer when you do the weekly things, which is great.
Yeah.
But for me, and just wanting the instant gratification like any good American would, I want it all now. I want it now.
Well, I think that's like Netflix has ruined all of us, because like Netflix released everything at once. So we binge watched Daredevil, all 12 episodes in like a day and a half. And now we're like mad because we have to wait a week for WandaVision to come out, which is very frustrating. But I'm kind of glad they do it this way, because I think it builds suspense a lot more from week to week, which is very, very nice.
Most definitely.
But I do feel like after every episode, some answers or some questions get answered, but then I'm left with more questions than I had before, which is frustrating, which is probably good for them. They're doing their job very, very well.
Yeah, exactly. It's doing all the stuff they want us to do. They want us to freak out with our fan theories and have our hashtag. Baby Vision is a nightmare. That good stuff. They revel in it, and we just play right into their hand, which any good capitalist consumer would.
Exactly. So what this is going to be is we're going to dive into our crazy off the wall wrong theories. Just probably going to put that out there. It's probably very wrong. But there are theories, at least, so I'm going to stick by it. And there are a lot of questions that we had going into the show. And a lot of questions that when we went into the show still have not been answered fully. So we're going to start off with this question. I want to get your take on it.
Let me hear it.
Who do you think the villain or the main villain behind WandaVision is?
Okay, so since we're going into straight spoiler territory, and obviously this is going to be true, it's going to be a true theory. So really don't get mad at me for just being so dang clairvoyant, seeing it into the future. But
you got the leaks, didn't you?
Everyone's saying Mephisto. Every nerd and their mother is saying Mephisto, including me. but I think Mephisto is Ralph. I think Agnes is Agatha Hargraves, the little witchy witch.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the most telling thing in the last episode, that's where I feel like I got the most clues. I get more clues as the episodes build on each other, right? So the last one, when Vision snapped Norm out of it, whatever his real name was, the man formerly known as other person, now Norm. But whenever he got snapped out, he said, "You got to stop her. She's in my head."
Yeah.
Doesn't say a name on purpose.
Yeah.
I think it's Agnes. It's not Wanda. I think Wanda believes what she's saying. I think she doesn't want to leave. We saw that. You saw that play out. She's definitely cool with what's going on. But I think you have to make a deal with the devil to get your loved one back, a.k.a. Mephisto, a.k.a. Agatha Hargraves. That's either one of those is the villain, as well as the Hayward, the director of S.W.O.R.D.
Yeah.
He says, like, oh, she is the victimizer. She's the main victimizer. And if we know anything from watching TV, is that when they say something is outright what it is, it's never that.
Especially 5 episodes in.
5 episodes in,
yeah.
You're telling me that it's all obvious. It's all pointing to her.
Yeah.
So all pointing to Wanda. So go ahead and say Agnes, because I love Catherine Hahn, so
Mhm.
why wouldn't they take her and make her a bad person?
I fully agree that I don't think it's fully Wanda. I think Wanda definitely is playing a part in it. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think it's fully her. I'm not sure about because I'm on the Mephisto train too for the most part. It's just would the MCU do Mephisto is a question because of like the issues that the like movies in China have to be a specific way. They can't talk about specific things or they get cut. And I think China is a very big um, money maker for Disney and Marvel Studios and things like that. But also, this is Disney Plus, and Disney Plus is not on in China yet, so they can do whatever they want really right now. So I think it is Mephisto. I think because they did the little in the second episode in the trailer in the intro. Did you see the helmet of Grim Reaper?
I did not see that.
Yeah, so when they did like the Simpsons style when like they went through the floor, when Vision was like going through the floor, if you stop
Yeah, yeah.
in between there is like skeleton bones and then an outline of the Grim Reaper's helmet. So he could be a part of it because they also in that same thing had the Wonder Bread, which was kind of a play on Wonder Man, which they
Yeah.
are Grim Reaper and Wonder Man are brothers in the comics. So that could be them, but I am leaning more towards Mephisto, probably being Ralph, because I think Ralph is probably Jimmy Woo's missing person that sent him there in the first place.
Gotcha.
But still, it's probably not going to be Mephisto. It's probably going to be somebody that we don't even know or that we're not even thinking of.
Yeah.
It's Baron Zemo. That's how these two shows are going to
No,
connect.
it's Galactus, bro. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
he just went to human size. I'm trying to think what would be the biggest thing that would just blow your mind. Or it's Doctor Doom. He's the one doing it.
Doctor Doom. Yeah, that
He
would
can be mystic. It can be mystical, or it's Caecilius from the Doctor Strange.
Oh
movie.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'd be good to get Mad Mickelson back. That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be sweet. Um,
That would be my pick for Doctor Doom. He's so good.
he is good. He's very good. I think though that Mephisto is the safe call, other than Wanda.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But
Honestly, maybe the simplest answer is the right one. Maybe we're overthinking it.
maybe, but normally we're not. Normally there's something deeper behind it than what we actually think there is.
Always.
So the next thing then that I want to talk to you about is the big one that kind of ended the episode of episode 5. Once again, if you haven't seen episode 5, go watch it.
Get out. Get out.
What do you think is up with Evan Peters Quicksilver showing up in the MCU? Do you think this is the introduction to mutants, or do you think this is something different?
I think it's something different. I think it's going to be a little bit less than what we're probably all thinking in our heads.
Okay.
It's not going to be this crazy multiverse thing. I could be eating my words next Friday. I don't know. But that's just my thing is I like to stay even keel no matter what, you know. I get my stuff. I get it when I bump, or, you know, I get my spikes here and there.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker showing up in Mandalorian and just blows it through the roof. Sorry, spoilers for that, but I mean, you have had to have seen it by now. It's not my fault. And if you haven't, then you must not have cared. So, but yeah, so I definitely get my spikes up and stuff like that. I saw Evan Peters. You know, we got some rumors out there before that he would be showing up. So I was like overly surprised because I was like, that can't be Aaron Taylor Johnson, right? So I was pleasantly surprised, obviously, seeing Evan Peters there. Is it on the same level as Luke Skywalker, or is it a little less?
I think it's less, but I don't think that's the cameo they were talking about.
Okay. Oh God, what is it going to be? There's only one cameo that I can think of that would really make me squeal like a Luke Skywalker one would. What would yours be?
Mine would be either Ian McKellen showing up as Magneto, or as Sir Patrick Stewart showing up as Professor X.
Not the new ones?
Not the new ones, because I think
McAvoy or Fassbender?
I think, well, they could, but I don't think I could buy Fassbender as being Wanda's dad or anything like that. I don't think the age thing makes sense for that. But I do think, because like what I'm thinking is that they are bringing in the X-Men from the Fox for some things, but not all things, because I think you're right that this is the opening to the multiverse. And I think the multiverse is going to be completely screwed up by the time we get to Doctor Strange 2, because we still have, I think Spider-Man 3 is before
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2, which obviously I think we're going to get a lot of Spider-Man clones and things like that coming into it with Maguire and Garfield and things like that.
Yes.
Plus,
Give me all
I
this
saw
stuff.
did you see the rumor where apparently Willem Dafoe is on the set for Spider-Man 3?
I did see that.
So
So
I think it would be
all
good
about
for
it.
him to show up. I don't know if I want him to be the Norman Osborn in the MCU necessarily. I think he's a little too campy for what they go for in a lot of ways. But I do,
You're talking about the man that looks like a literal goblin.
Yeah.
Isn't Green Goblin enough for you?
But I do think that they are going to like introduce all of these people all at once, and then once the multiverse is fixed, then you're able to kind of pick and choose who you want to stay and who you don't want to stay in a lot of ways. So like
Yeah.
Evan Peters coming back as Quicksilver would be fantastic, and James McAvoy and Fassbender coming back as Professor X and Magneto would be great. But I don't want like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, because I think it's time we get a new Wolverine, because Logan was a perfect ending to him, and I don't want
Yeah.
anything else to come after it. And I don't want Jennifer Lawrence back at all. So I think that would be, I think kind of picking and choosing, I think that would kind of work. And then Doctor Strange 2 would kind of fix everything to where it kind of goes back to the normal MCU in a lot of ways. But still,
Just another place that did the multiverse and kind of does exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Kind of picked and chose which one they wanted to do. I don't know if you watched it, but at the end of the what was it? Crisis on Infinite Earths arc for the CW shows, how they kind of pick and chose where everybody ended up and how they all kind of ended up on the same Earth by the end of it.
Mhm.
With Batwoman, who was originally on a different Earth, and Black Lightning and stuff like that. They're like, put them all on one Earth. It'll be fun. We're losing Arrow. It's going to be great. And so they kind of got to pick and choose which ones that ended up on the Earth and where they all went. So that was really cool. And I think that they'll probably do something like that. With these, if they do end up bringing the X-Men in, folding them in, I would be fine with them just starting fresh. I don't have a big, excuse me.
Bless you. Bless you. Oh.
No, there was another.
Fake out.
One. Sorry. It's not Corona, I promise.
I've already had it. You're good.
But okay, good. I don't think you can get it through Discord. Anyways, I don't think it traveled through my microphone.
I hope not.
But what was I talking about? Okay, so yeah, again, you can pick and choose. I would be fine with them starting completely fresh. I agree. I share your sentiment with Wolverine.
Mhm.
Definitely don't do it again. Logan was perhaps one of my favorite superhero movies ever.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't like superhero-y.
Yeah.
It just proves that you can do any genre in the with a comic book storyline. And so I think that Evan Peters would be perfect. I think it's kind of unanimous how everyone feels about that Quicksilver over the one Aaron Taylor Johnson. No offense to him, obviously he's a great actor. Just from what they were given, Evan Peters obviously did a much better job. So it's cool that he's going to be there. But honestly, a part of me thinks he's just going to be in the next episode, and like nothing crazy will happen from him. But then I remember how Kevin Feige has treated us this whole time. So I was just like, no, it's going to be something cool. It's going to be satisfying.
Well,
so
I think another option is maybe Evan Peters is Mephisto. And so
that's great. Now you're being crazy.
And so
that's crazy talk.
Now he showed up because it's like it definitely is like a meta casting for this show of him coming back as Quicksilver.
I mean, especially when Darcy literally comes out and says it.
Yeah. And so I think that would be like a nice little like nod to the Fox X-Men, but being like, but we're doing our own thing, and he's now a villain, because was he in American Horror Stories?
Yeah,
and he was fantastic in it. I mean, he can definitely play a creepy, dark character, and so I think he could be Mephisto. Yes. And so I think maybe
he was a freaking school shooter in the first season of that.
Yeah, and so I think he could be Ralph and then be Mephisto, but playing as the Evan Peters Quicksilver to kind of make Wanda happy, because Vision is obviously starting to ask questions and not making her as happy. And so I think this could be another ploy from him to do that as well. Or it could just be like you said, he just showed up just for fun, and the next episode he dies or he's not there or whatever, whatever it is, he's gone. But I think one of those two things is possible.
It could be where she doesn't like Vision anymore, so Pietro comes in, and it's like the Ultimate Comics where there's incest.
This isn't WWE in the 90s anymore, okay?
Okay, good. No, but seriously, they did that. They hooked
Oh,
up.
I
and
know.
Wolverine watched in the bushes. It's weird. And then Captain America, everyone's giving Cap shit. They're like, Cap's like, I don't think this is kind of wrong. They're like, oh, look at you and your 1940s sensibilities.
No,
It's like, no, I think now it's pretty in 2000s. It's not good either. I think.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I
Could
don't
you
think
imagine
it's
that
gonna
happen and you just see outside Wolverine, Hugh Jackman just looking in the window as
he's like, oh yeah. I feel like that doesn't even sound like Hugh Jackman.
No.
He's just in there. He would be with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, maybe.
that would be. I
Be
could see
like,
that
oh, this
happening.
is-
I could definitely see that
would be
happening.
more likely.
Yeah.
What if he's the Luke Skywalker? Deadpool just shows up.
That would be.
And it's like, I'm the only one that's supposed to do meta commentary. Dang it, Wanda.
I'd be fine with that.
I don't know if we'll ever get a logical explanation for, or do you think there'll be a logical explanation why it's a TV show?
I think because maybe because obviously the commercials and thing play back to like her trauma, like overall.
Definitely.
And so I think maybe like in Sokovia when she was growing up, the only thing they had was like older sitcoms, and so that's the only thing she could
I
kind
Love
of
Lucy and stuff like that.
and she could only kind of relate to that. And then like when she was being house watched by Vision, maybe that was their thing, is they used to watch old sitcoms or something like that, and then that's how they. I don't think it'll be a logical answer. I don't think we really need one at this point because now it's just kind of is what it is. But I don't know. They may throw something at us, but it could be something interesting.
I think so too, and I think that once we find out what that is, or a little bit more about that, we'll find out who's controlling everything.
Yeah,
we'll have a better understanding of who's controlling everything.
Now, let me ask, since we're staying on the topic of villains in some way, what do you think about Hayward?
He's Hydra or something like that.
Do you think it's Hydra again?
Nah, maybe not Hydra. Maybe something else.
Do you think it's it could be? He could be a Skrull coming in for a secret invasion.
Oh, it could be a dang Skrull. I didn't think about that.
Because when Monica said allies, he kind of rolled his eyes and talking about allies in space with Captain Marvel.
Gotcha. Captain Marvel. That could be. I never thought about a Skrull. That's a great idea. I could do. That seems like where it's going. Hydra. I think we're kind of done with that.
Yeah.
For a while
so.
after Cap. after Cap joined him. So I think that'd be good.
Yeah,
Skrulls. I'm for that. I don't really have any rebuttals to that. He could just. I don't think he's just a useless idiot. Just like a red tape.
Yeah.
Pencil pushing kind of guy. There always is one of those. But he definitely doesn't like the superheroes.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like Wanda, painting her in the bad light. But when you do say it out like that, I'm like, yeah, she has done some terrible stuff. What is she doing?
Well, Lagos wasn't her fault. I mean, it was, but it wasn't like
No.
on purpose, like everything else was.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's Captain America's fault. I thought we established that.
Yeah. Tony was right.
Yes, we did. I guess not everybody. No, he was not. He was wrong. They showed that they were wrong. They were not prepared at all for Infinity War.
Yeah, but I mean, Cap lied about. Cap knew about Bucky killing Tony's parents, and if you were close enough friends, you should tell him that.
No.
Yeah.
No. Because he was exactly gonna react like that. Whenever he's under any kind of distress, you know what he does? Creates more supervillains.
That is very true.
So he's irrational. What's he gonna? He's gonna create another murder bot.
But he did create Vision. He did create Vision.
He didn't create Vision. Ultron created Vision.
Yeah, but his creation created
Vision. Then Thor used his lightning, and Hulk was there. So, and Vision, that could have went one of two ways, okay? But then he was just like, I like that one in the red jacket. I don't know. I don't know if anybody, or I'm sure people have noticed it now, but the first thing I noticed when Vision jumped out, the first person he looked at, first thing he saw when he was alive was Wanda.
Yeah.
It was a very, he looked at her first, and then he freaked out and pushed everybody away.
Yeah.
Was startled because he was just born. But yeah, so I think that was a really nice touch. And I know a lot of people don't like Age of Ultron, but they can suck it.
I think it is definitely the weakest Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But by saying weakest, it's still a really good movie because all the other ones are fantastic too. So I think it gets a bad rap, but
I'm surprised it's even a coherent movie because it had set up all these other things.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
And
still
it
and
really,
it's amazing how much it actually set up because at the time it didn't feel like that important of a movie. It just kind of felt like we
hmm
need the Avengers together just to make money. But then it kind of
hmm
made like everything has come from Age of Ultron in a lot of ways, which is a lot of fun for that to happen. Um, do you think here's another? We're gonna rolling through the questions for the theories because there's no other really way to
gotcha.
kind of handle it. Do you think Vision is alive?
No.
Do you think she's just flying around with his corpse?
It's like yeah, she's like I think I just go back to what Bruce Banner said. It's like you take out the Mind Stone, there's still a lot of vision left.
Hmm.
So I think that there's something there, but I'm not sure how much is left. If he's just a husk,
Yeah,
he's just going to be a robot man. And she's just projecting like her visions of him or her memories of him back onto the body.
maybe.
So
Yeah.
there's something like that. I don't think he's alive. I think that's probably something that she's gonna have to come to terms with at the end. Be like, oh no, he's for real dead. I have to kill him for a third time or whatever. No, it's something like that. I mean, obviously the Vision will probably be back in Avengers unless Paul Bettany hates getting in the makeup. I think that's probably a big reason why they're doing the TV shows and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. It depends. I don't know how many films he was contracted for, but I wouldn't be surprised if she has to like learn to let him go again,
Yeah.
like she has to for everything.
Now there is because we've seen some shots from the trailer of her kind of face to face with the Mind Stone again. Do you think that is a flashback, or do you think she is trying to reanimate the Mind Stone? Or
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see the Mind Stone. They were reduced to atoms. I don't know, maybe, but there's something that could happen, which goes back to the Evan Peters thing. If she's just not bringing anybody back to life, pulling them from alternate realities,
Mhm.
you could use an Infinity Stone from a different reality.
Yeah,
But they don't work outside of their original reality, their original universe.
yeah,
So it could be like, oh, got this one, nice. Then she gets back, she's like, oh,
but she could power it, couldn't she? Because she could power the. She could.
you have, but you have to be, or comic book logic.
You have to be in the
sorry.
universe for it to.
Yeah, here, let me cite my
There we
source.
go.
In Secret Wars 2 that came out in 2017, Black Panther they collected all the Infinity Stones or whatever because there's something called the my nerd is showing
That's
right
fine.
now. But these things called incursions were two Earths of different realities would
Yeah.
collide. Captain America wielded the Infinity Gauntlet to try and push that away so they could save their Earth, but instead he destroyed all of the Infinity Gems. One of them disappeared. I think the time one just disappeared, but they all shattered because they do not work in other realities and or on other Earths. So when you do try to do that, they shatter. So, but what happens at the end of that one? Doctor Doom's like, because it's called Battle World or whatever. So
Yeah.
his little slice of where he was at the Capitol, basically, Black Panther had the Infinity Gauntlet. The stones that little part the Capitol was made from. So they had to get those ones. They had to get the ones from that specific Earth.
Gotcha.
They don't work outside of other realities. That was the biggest nerdy thing. Imagine if I knew something useful instead.
That was amazing. That was a 10 out of 10 for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a great storyline. It was very cool. If you guys haven't watched or read that one, it's awesome.
Yeah.
People don't like Secret Wars 2. I dug it. You get God Doom versus Thanos, which is very cool.
Yeah.
And God Doom does a lot of stuff where he just like, there's a big bad guy and he just takes him out real easy to show how big and bad he is, you know.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think you're right that Vision is probably. I don't think Vision is making it out of this show alive. At least I don't think.
I just don't see like all the steps that Wanda's taking are bad.
Yeah.
Like she's lying to herself, lying to the Vision, lying to everybody around her.
Yeah.
Kidnapping these town people, whether she knows that or not. Whether it's somebody else controlling the other people in the town, she knows what she's doing isn't right, and lying to this person that she claims to love. So I think the lesson she'll have to learn, because there's always a lesson, whether she chooses to learn it or not. But it'll be like, oh, she needs to stop this. Like she needs to be truthful and all that good stuff. Honestly, I think that she might just go and be a villain at the end, and I think that'd be really cool and add some more depth to her. But I'm gonna be like, oh, but she's been more bad than good most of the time.
Yeah. Do you think she'll be the villain in Doctor Strange too?
That's what that would be my theory. I just think that'd be really cool to see because we've seen a lot of stories in the MCU. Seeing the a main hero be a villain hasn't really happened.
Yeah.
Like when we've had people turn like Bucky and stuff like that, but I think it'd be very interesting to see someone who's already on the right path, have all these experiences make her go down the wrong path
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a more interesting character, more take, because then you'd have it be like in Civil War, where like, okay, well, we know Tony's right, but also Cap's right, this
Yeah.
and that, and I think that makes for a much more compelling story. So they're like, Doctor Strange really needs to stop this, but I think he also needs to stop. He's being kind of too belligerent, too ready to fight,
Mhm.
and he should just try and talk to her more because I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think she is going to be she may not be the main villain, but I think she will be a villain in it at least, or she'll do something. She'll be a part of it, obviously in a big way.
She'll be doing some bad stuff.
Yeah, I think she will, but I don't think she'll be like a villain for like the entire like for the rest of the MCU. I think she'll be like, kind of like Loki was and be half good, half bad at times. maybe kind of flip it a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, I hope that she's just. That would make her more interesting to make her like a Loki character.
Yeah.
But else, like she's got to get back to being good, right?
Yeah.
That's that, or is that just what they're gonna? That's how they're
Now,
gonna flip the script on her.
Unless Magneto shows up or something, and then she goes and joins him.
That would be crazy. I don't know how crazy I would be about that.
Yeah.
Depending on how they do it, because I don't know what it would mean for the rest of it. Because honestly, I love Ian McKellen's Magneto, but I like Michael Fassbender's a little better.
Yeah,
just because I just do. I don't really have a good reason for it. It's not analytical. I just like the way he talks, and I thought that character was a lot more compelling because we got to watch him go from being like person in internment camp to revenge person to anti-hero to hero back to being back on his revenge stuff and being a villain. I thought that was a much better story, but that's just what we were given.
Yeah.
He was already big and bad when we saw him in the first X-Men movie.
Yeah.
But that's just what I think. I don't know how they're going to do mutants. I'd much rather, like I said, I'd much rather them just start from scratch, because that he can claim that that's her dad, no matter what. But her dad isn't Magneto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like okay, Luke. That's a problem I have with Star Wars. Yeah, Luke, Darth Vader's your dad, but Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, they're the ones who raised you.
Right.
Those are your parents.
Yeah.
Like Leia's got it right. She never calls Darth Vader her father in the extended universe. No, my dad was Bail Organa, and he blew up that entire planet. So that's not my dad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. But I did get some heavy Magneto vibes when she turned all the guns on Hayward and then kind of walked off. That was really cool.
That was pretty dope.
I was a big fan of that.
Yeah, shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot the stupid scroll.
Probably
on it.
Probably the last question before we wrap all of this up.
Wait, I have one before. I just wrote down going off of the Ultron.
Go ahead.
It's gonna make more sense. So they had Vision's body at Sword, right? Vision didn't want to be a weapon, didn't want to be reanimated or anything like that, right? But could they have been trying to rebuild Ultron at Sword? Because he was built to be, the suit of armor around the world to stop basically Thanos. So what if Sword, being in the comics, being the one to stop extraterrestrial threats, going out and fighting that, and maybe that's why Nick Fury's out there as well. But maybe that's what they're doing, creating Ultron, recreating Ultron, and obviously a new image, not with the big murderous tendencies that he got from Tony Stark, but maybe they're trying to do some stuff like that, some Ultron stuff at Sword.
I think they're definitely doing something like that because. I mean, he just kind of dropped that in the 4th episode of like they're creating sentient weapons now. And then all of a sudden we see the shot that he'd been holding on to for 9 days, by the way, doesn't make sense as to why he wouldn't share that information with everybody.
Yeah, I was like, no, we know Wanda's in there. What we should do? How'd she even get the Vision's body?
Yeah. I definitely think they're making something like that to kind of maybe for good intentions, or maybe he's doing it to sell it to somebody. Like maybe he's trying to do it to sell it to, I don't know, someone like a Norman Osborn or something like that. Because
all those,
if you remember
all the
in
scrolls can be the Dark Avengers.
if you remember in Ant-Man and the Wasp, that throwaway movie, but they mentioned I forget the guy's name, but he mentioned that he worked for a powerful person, but never really mentioned who it was. So that could have been a little sprinkle there for a normie norm, somebody like that. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Depending on what Sony does will depend on who I work for.
Yeah. But I think that could be something like that kind of show up.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. But I was just thinking in my head, I was like, okay, well, Sword probably came out because this is still like right at like a week after everyone, or 3 weeks after everyone got snapped back. So this world is still very much reeling.
Yeah.
So back at work, I'm taking at least a month. I'm not going back to work after 2 weeks. I'm taking at least a month. Maybe to go back, grab a cup of coffee, see some old coworkers. But I ain't clocking in.
No.
For a whole month.
And I think that was my favorite scene of the show so far, is her coming back from the snap, and the whole like hospital scene. I think that was, because that was the thing that we missed the most. I think that's the thing I wanted to see the most of. Yes. Maybe in Endgame or even Far From Home, was people coming back, and we got a little bit of it in Far From Home, but not like.
But it was more played for laughs. Yeah, good job, Sony.
Yeah, this one was like intense, and like it would be freaky to like wake up in a hospital and all of a sudden your mom died 2 years ago, and that was 3 years after you snapped away. Like that would be crazy. Also, I refuse to call it the blip, because I think the blip is the dumbest name for the snap.
It's very dumb.
Just call it the snap and just go with it, roll with it. It's fine. Everyone knows what it is. But the final question is, do you think that Monica Rambeau got her powers from this, or do you think it'll develop a little bit later on?
Develop a little bit. Something happened. I'm not sure. She said she was working in the field before, so she might have already encountered something, but I guess I wouldn't imagine that they would do that off screen.
Yeah.
So. But there's something up with her.
Yeah.
What it is, I do not know.
Yeah.
It could definitely be something having to do giving her powers. But I was just like, so anybody could have got powers if they would have jumped in there.
Yeah.
But maybe this could be the stepping stone. Like, oh, maybe while she's trying to figure out what's wrong with her, she slips into a vat of toxic cosmic energy. You know. But I just feel like she's like a Captain Marvel kind of powerful person.
Yeah.
I just feel like just getting thrown in, going in Westfield, getting out of Westfield, I think there'd have to be something more. But there is something up, obviously, especially how they brushed it aside and didn't try and draw blood.
Yeah.
Like, let's see.
Also, what do you think the beef between Monica and Captain Marvel is? Because there is some bad blood there.
Didn't come back when her mom had cancer.
Yeah.
Where are you at, man? We need you now.
Yeah.
Why did you never come back? Or maybe her mom was always waiting for her and she never came back to Earth. I know there's a lot of time that passed, but maybe she never came back.
Maybe. I can see that.
Pretty terrible friend.
I can see that. Well, it's just another reason for everyone to hate Brie Larson, is all it is, because everyone loves to do that.
No, the SJW. Oh, like, dude, it's more like anti-social media. I don't know. I don't know. What do they get mad about?
I don't know. I like Brie Larson. I think she does.
Yeah. She's great.
She does a fine job. Just a fine job.
She has a great voice in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yeah, and she's not bad in Kong Skull Island.
She's not bad in anything I've seen her.
Yeah. So
she's good. People are just, females? No. Feminists are taking over.
Oh, people, they're stupid. Anything else you want to add about WandaVision before we wrap up the episode?
Good show. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to the Luke Skywalker-esque cameo, whatever that will be. I have no idea. I don't think I mentioned who I would like it to be. Like, the only person that would make me squeal like a Luke Skywalker kind of deal would be Tobey Maguire coming back. But obviously, that doesn't make any sense in this show.
Yeah.
So I'll save that squeal for Spider-Man 3. Thank you.
I think I'm the only person in the world that's not that excited to see him come back.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We don't need you.
No. Okay. I'm happy to see Willem Dafoe back. I'm very happy to see him back.
No, whatever. You just told him he's too campy.
He is campy,
Can't
but
even
it fit
do
the
it.
movie. Just Tobey Maguire to me is.
You know what? I'm gonna build you a goblin motorcycle helmet and see how good you do.
I would kill it.
Okay,
I would
but,
kill it.
I really enjoyed. I'm enjoying it so far. Like I said, slow start, but each episode is better than the last.
Yeah, I agree. I think the first 2 episodes kind of were slow on purpose to kind of just maybe not give away too much and kind of draw people in a little bit. But then episode 3, 4, and 5 have been on the edge of my seat every time since the beginning of the episode to the end, and I absolutely love it. Did you feel like this is a random one? Did you feel like episode 4 felt like it was only like 15 minutes long and it was like 31?
Yeah, that one went by so fast.
I don't know why it was, but it was just, I think because we were getting so much information so quickly that it just went by so quickly. But I remember watching it and I was like, oh, this was only like a 15-minute episode, and look back and it was like 34. It was like the second longest episode. And I was like, this makes no sense at all.
It just had to be that way.
It had to.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like the really good ones, I'm just like, give me more answers, and then they're like, and it's over.
All right. Anything else you want to add before we go off? Do you tell the people where they can find you and what you're up to?
Go ahead and follow us on YouTube at NewWorldNerds, or you can go follow us on Twitter at NewWorldNerds. You know, wherever there's a media, I'm sure we got a New World Nerds thing on there. We'd love to have you. Just do a lot of nerdy stuff too.
Yeah, definitely go check them out. We're actually getting ready to do another episode on his channel where we're going to break down the Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer that was teased during the Super Bowl. So definitely go check that video out. Go check us out as we lose our mind over that show as well, because it looks amazing. So I'm very excited for that.
Yes.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Dorks Next Door. Take out the E from next. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, share, do all of those fun things. We are very happy to be back after a very long break. But we are very excited to kind of get rolling. I'm actually working on another fan favorite list video as we speak. So
Excellent.
Give me a little time on that, because those things take a little while to find the pictures and to do the script and everything. But we're looking forward to doing that. So make sure you follow us, do all that fun stuff, and we'll see you guys in the next video.